Hey fam, welcome. It's Saturday night, 6 p. Pacific. You have reached the end of the internet and you have found yourself here with me for Love Line at Night with Heidi B. I am thrilled that you're joining me. So excited to have you here. Tonight we're going to talk about The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Last night we talked about The Mastery of Love. Hey Rachel, both of these are great pieces to have in your, basically on your bedside, on your nightstand, in your pocket, as people come out of quarantine, out of sheltering in place, and head back to the dating game. So Mastery of Love was last night. We talked specifically about the magical kitchen, which is a fantastic metaphor for just like the abundance of love that we have for ourselves deep within. Tonight we're going to talk about the Four Agreements. Very high level stuff. I recommend this book. Grab both of them if you're online or book shopping. So what are the Four Agreements? We're going to run through them pretty quick. I'm hoping that I can remember them. I think I'm good. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Why does this matter in dating? It matters in dating because I guess the long and the short of it is like, don't try to be cool when you're not cool. What that means is, oh, hey girl. What that means is, if you are someone who needs to be in communication with the person you are dating, don't try to be like, oh, it doesn't matter if I hear back from you. You know, being impeccable with your word means that you mean what you say. So often when we find ourselves dating, we start, my dog's barking in the background. I can't do anything about that. So often when we are dating, we find ourselves in this position because we think this guy's so cute that we just want to like play it cool. Well, like, look, that's not being impeccable with your word. If you say something you don't mean, then you're not giving the person you're dating the honest opportunity to show up for you and to be available for you in the way that you actually want them to. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. I take that when you're dating to mean say what you mean. So that is one of my favorite, that's just actually one of my favorite rules of all time. The second agreement in the Four Agreements is don't take things personally. So this is another one. It's so easy to do this. It's so easy to forget to do this in all kinds of areas of our lives, but it's really easy to forget to do this when we're dating, because when something goes sideways and we don't have a lot of communication around it or we don't have a lot of the details, one of the easiest things we can do is make up some kind of story about what it has to do with us. And so often something has literally nothing to do with us, but we are just so self-centered that we've created a story around why he hasn't texted us in 3 days and it has something to do with us. Maybe it does, but maybe it has something to do with a family emergency, a work schedule, some other reason. So the second agreement is don't take things personally. The third agreement is very similar to that, and it is don't make assumptions. So in the same vein of getting into telling ourselves a story about why someone might or might not like us or how someone may or may have not slighted us, when we make assumptions, we don't actually have all of the details or a full understanding of what actually happened. So don't make any assumptions. If you have any questions about what's going on, be impeccable with your word, reach out to the person you're seeing and ask whatever questions you need to. I always think that this should be an agreement, but I'm not Don Miguel Ruiz and I didn't write the Four Agreements. But I think that one of the agreements should be use the simplest form of the truth. If you are confused, reach out to the person who's confusing you and say, I'm confused, what's going on? Instead of making a bunch of assumptions about something and taking it personally. So those two agreements I think really go hand in hand. And the final agreement, the fourth agreement, is always do your best. And I get a lot of opportunity to work in that agreement, in the work that I do around 12-step recovery, and just really letting go of what everyone else is doing and knowing that I can only do me. I can only show up to this life the best that I can. My job is to be honest. It's to be curious. Curious is a big one. It's to be tolerant, loving, kind, those things. And if I'm doing those things, then the rest of this really doesn't matter. And actually, if I'm doing those things and living my life and doing my best, it actually makes it a lot easier not to take stuff personally and not to make a bunch of assumptions about what's going on. So that is a super quick recap of the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. Don't forget, if you're out shopping, if you're shopping online, grab the Four Agreements. Also grab the Mastery of Love as you head back out to the dating world, coming out of quarantine and shelter in place. Those are two amazing tools to have in your toolkit. Also, if you have a minute, I would love to have you subscribe to my email list. If you do, you did, you just talked about it. I love it. If you do subscribe to my email list, just head over to my website, HeidiBcoaching.com, add your name there, and then you'll get my 30-minute webinar on how to quit being a people pleaser, which I feel like everyone needs this day and age. So happy that you joined me here tonight. Can't wait to see you again next weekend, same time, same place, 6 p. Pacific, Friday and Saturday nights for Love Line at Night with Heidi B.